Now, when I say everybody knows that Congressman Cummings' district is a problem, I'm including guys like Bernie Sanders who went there a few years ago and said this.
But anyone who took the walk that we took around this neighborhood would not think you're in a wealthy nation. You would think that you were in a third world country.
Okay. So Sanders was basically blaming the system, the federal system, not Elijah Cummings. Okay, now we all there now? We all know where we are? So then Cummings starts to hound Donald Trump. He's the head of the Oversight Committee in the House. He goes to the border, Cummings does. He says it's horrible and Trump's horrible and Trump shouldn't be there and all of that. If Cummings were white and said the same thing, Trump would have gone after him. Keep that in mind. But Cummings is black. So Trump then starts unloading on Elijah Cummings. It started last Thursday, 2 Thursdays ago, July 18th. Started then when Homeland Security Secretary Kevin McClellan was testifying in front of Elijah Cummings' committee, and Cummings just carved him up. Cummings' basic opinion is federal government's persecuting migrants, purposely keeping them in bad conditions. That's what Cummings is saying. Okay. So then on this Saturday, all right, 7:15 a.m., President Trump's up. He tweets, quote, Representative Cummings has been a brutal bully, shouting and screaming at great men and women of Border Patrol about conditions on the southern border, which is actually, his Baltimore district is far worse and more dangerous. His district is considered the worst in the USA. Boom. Press gets it. Trump's a racist. Happens 100% of the time now. If you criticize a liberal Democrat black politician, you're racist. Now you can criticize conservative blacks all day long. All right, Clarence Thomas, you do whatever you want to Clarence Thomas. There's a lot more going on here than meets the eye as far as President Trump, the racism thing, Elijah Cummings, and this is not being reported anywhere. Number one step for you as a concerned American is to read my column, if you haven't already, entitled The Bad, Evil White Men. Okay? That is the underpinning. Okay, white men, the patriarchy, are to be shunned, according to the far left, and their media enablers. That's very, very important. The race thing comes in a purely political way. So we don't have Russian collusion anymore. We don't have Stormy Daniels anymore. We got to have something to attack President Trump with that's very simple to understand. All right? And that's, he's a racist. You got to have it. Can't say the economy's bad. Can't say foreign policy's hurting us. It's not at this point. Can't say that the country itself is in some kind of dire condition, because it isn't. So what can you say? If you're a Democrat, if you want to put a Democrat in the White House, a liberal in the White House, what can you say? He's a racist. You got to say that. So it's all about wiping out the white patriarchy. That's the number one thing. Getting a woman or a person of color or a minority, whatever description you want to make, into power. So the white men are evil. And they've always been evil. Old George Washington, evil guy. You read Killing England, I hone in on Washington and Jefferson and Franklin. They're all white guys. No. It's amazing what's happening. It really is. And then the political play, racist, you'll hear it tonight in the Democratic debate. Now, Bernie Sanders opened strong. He opened strong last night. So I'm going to play you a couple of sound bites. First, Sanders, go.
Tonight in America, as we speak, 87 million Americans are uninsured or underinsured. But the healthcare industry made $100 billion in profits last year. Tonight, as we speak, right now, 500,000 Americans are sleeping out on the street, and yet companies like Amazon that made billions in profits did not pay one nickel in federal income tax. Tonight, half of the American people are living paycheck to paycheck, and yet 49% of all new income goes to the top 1%.
Okay, so some of the stats are not correct, but Amazon did not pay federal income tax last year, 2018. How they got away with it was they depreciated a lot of their assets, which is legal. They deducted compensation of executives. They moved things around. And this is Jeff Bezos, the owner of the Washington Post. So instead of attacking Bezos, who is a known donator to far left and Democratic causes, they did not do that. Sanders did not do that. He could have went right at Bezos. He did not, because he needs Bezos. Democratic Party needs him. But it is a legitimate talking point. Certainly is. That Amazon, making all those billions of dollars, is able to evade paying anything to the federal government for its defense, for its infrastructure, or anything. Now, Amazon employs a lot of people, pays Social Security taxes on that, does all that, but it shouldn't be this way. And Sanders is right. The tax code shouldn't allow giant corporations like Amazon to pay nothing. He's right. That is the strongest argument the Democratic Party has. All right, is that the Republican Party has not figured out how to get these out-of-control corporations under control. The second strongest argument is healthcare, okay? Because healthcare is hurting a lot of Americans. It is. Now, Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren and the rest of the radical leftists want to give it away free to everybody. You can't do that. It's unconstitutional. Look, if you're president and you say, I'm going to ban a private health insurance company, that'll be ruled unconstitutional in 15 seconds. Okay, let me run down a few things that were interesting to me. Kamala Harris had a big opportunity last night, and didn't seize it. I'll be interested to see what happens now, because I predicted that she'll make a deal with Biden. So Biden will be the guy, and then Harris will be VP. But it's too early for that, but I think that's what's coming. Biden criticized Harris and came at her a couple of different ways, because Harris's health care plan, and that's number one issue for Democrats, it's all over the place. He's got a 10-year plan. It's this, it's that, it's in, it's out. Nobody really knows what it is. So Biden's just looking at her going, hey, your plan's going to take 10 years. If it was a good plan, it shouldn't. Biden, he just worked her over. And Biden's plan is Obamacare. It's very simple. Obamacare. He's running on that. Harris took a hit because she didn't articulate what her vision is. She was on the defensive. All debate, she's on the defensive. Last time she was on the offense. Now, they tried to revisit it. The CNN people tried to gin up the race thing again, fell flat. Didn't go. Harris, the one thing I did take away from her is that she wants to punish the private American insurance companies, the healthcare insurance companies. She wants to punish them. I don't know really if that's a good thing. Look, if the government takes over the healthcare industry, everything changes. We'll wait longer for care. Many rural hospitals will close. Many doctors will stop practicing or set up concierge services if they're not outlawed, which would be unconstitutional to outlaw them. But everything's going to change. So you want a hip replacement, you got to wait 3 weeks now, you're going to be waiting 6 months. It's going to happen. So Harris, she wants to punish the private insurance companies. All right. It's kind of dumb.